So COVID-19 is going on right now. It's probably, we're 3 weeks in, and we were staying up at the flight park up in Salt Lake when things happened. It is BLM land, but it also happens to be a state park. So unfortunately, this was right during the governor of Utah had decided that he was going to not necessarily, it's like a voluntary shelter in place, so it's not like mandatory orders. But as a result of that, he closed all the state parks except for to those that live in that particular county. So it happened to be a Friday night at 10 p.m. because it had gone into effect apparently, or written in order something like 30 minutes prior. And we get a knock on our door at 10 p.m. at night from, it wasn't necessarily a sheriff, I don't know what kind of guy it was, but something over the BLM land or something, and he said, "I'm sorry, you guys have to leave within 48 hours. We mentioned that Jeff was on his last week here. He's working at the hospital here in Salt Lake, and then he is quitting, and we will be taking contract as a travel nurse. We're currently working on where we're taking the contract, so we don't quite know yet to give you the answer to that. But anyway, so we had to find somewhere else to go, and there happened to be just south of Saratoga Springs on the west side of Utah Lake. There is a little tiny section of BLM land, so that's where we headed, and we are staying out here. Jeff he works today and then tomorrow, and that's his last day. So as far as how things are going with COVID-19, our life has not changed at all, and I am so thankful for it. My husband is still working, and I'm still homeschooling. I wasn't thrown into it like all of you other moms out there who are literally just thrown into this school. And by the way, my hat's off to you, because I have to tell you that what you're doing is not typical homeschool. So please take comfort in that that's not what my life is like. I am not like I feel like what you guys are doing with the online stuff is just throwing all this emotional stuff, is just throwing at you. You have no idea what you're doing. You're not really in charge. And for myself as a homeschooler or road schooler, I'm in charge of everything. I choose the curriculum. I'm already emotionally ready and there. I get to decide what days we're doing as opposed to some other teacher or somebody else teaching us how to do those things. So anyway, like I said, my hat's off to you parents out there who are trying to do this public school program at home, because I know that you're stressed about it, and I can feel that from everybody, and I'm so sorry about that. But other than that, our life really hasn't changed. It's actually really beautiful out, and the kids are out with their bikes, and so we're going to show you what we're doing here, I guess while everyone's dealing with the quarantines of COVID-19, and we still have another 30 days to go. So here we go.
What are you doing, goofball? Are you ready to go for a walk? Yeah? You ready to go? Let's go.
The kids decided also to show some true patriotism, because even though we're losing a lot of our freedoms right now, this is the land of the free. We are proud to be Americans, and we are going to show that. We are strong, we stand together, and we are going to get through this. And so they're putting flags on the back of their bikes.
If you saw a little glimpse of my bike, I put this little sign. It says, "Wherefore US, the USA," and then I drew a flag on it, and then here's my flag. And you'll see me do tricks on my bike.
Yeah.
So let's go!
All right, let's go. Okay, so there is our home, and right next to it we have this. What'd you find, Faith?
I found this jump. Went down it. It was scary, but first. And then when we went down it was lots of fun. So then I decided to dare Jacob to do this trick. He's like, no, I don't want to do it. And then one time we did it. Let me demonstrate what the trick is. Now 1, 2, 3, go! We did it! Oh, that's so cool.
So we just became a statistic. Most RVers say they usually get a mouse. We've been here a year. We finally got a mouse. We thought we were,
a vole.
Yeah, we thought we were good after the ants. We thought that would be like our craziest adventure with something entering in our home. We were wrong.
We still might get ants again.
Shh.
But at least we know
We were done. At least we know how to get rid of them.
Get rid
That's
of
true.
them.
That's true.
So, story begins with Candace waking me up.
No. We have to preface this. We kind of knew we were going to get mice because Jeff came home from work one day. Yes, we're still out here west of Utah Lake because we got kicked out at the flight park and during this COVID-19 pandemic.
Thanks, COVID.
And so we're hoping we don't get kicked out here because you're supposed to be a resident of this area to stay here. And well, we don't have a residency anywhere, so we're really not supposed to be anywhere. But anyway.
Such is life in an RV.
Yeah, it's true. It's a little interesting being quarantined during this time when we really don't have any place to stay. So anyway, Jeff comes home one night and he sees a vole going from underneath the rig. And there's a bunch of holes out here, so we know that's where they're living.
Yeah, I think he saw my lights and shoots from the underneath into his hole.
Yeah. So we kind of knew, so we got traps ready. He put a trap out one night, and we woke up
What?
at 5:30.
No.
What?
So Candace wakes me up one night.
After you set a trap.
Nope.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Okay, I hadn't set a trap yet. You're right.
How did you wake me up?
Okay, I forgot. I woke up. This is how the story goes. I woke up, and I heard this crinkly noise, and I was like, what is that? And I instantly knew, oh crap, that's probably a mouse. Jeff likes to hide his cookies and treats down by his bed down here so the kids don't get him. And then when he's snacking in bed, he just reaches down and picks it up, and when he's done, he just throws it back down there. It's not even really contained. Anyways, so I hear this crinkling noises, and I didn't want to wake him up and make noises because then he would scare what I figured was the mouse away, so I did this. To wake him up. Which, being a Marine, I would have thought he would have strangled me, you know, like somebody's coming to attack him in bed, but he totally didn't. And, anyway, so that's how I woke him up, and I was like, shh.
And then I hear crinkle, crinkle. And I'm like, and I quickly don't want anything taking my cookies. So I quickly look to make sure nothing's taking my cookies. And there isn't anything there, but obviously there was. Anyways, the night after that, we bought traps. I set a trap out against the wall.
Underneath the bed.
Where they're under the bed, where generally we know because we had mice in our old house, and they like to take corners of the walls and stuff. And I put it up against the corner of the wall and set it. And
it's like the old traps, you know, like the wooden ones, because those are the ones that only ever seem to work.
5:30, we both wake up. We snap up because I hear the snap of the trap go off. Candace is like, go check it. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to go back to bed because I don't want to deal with it at 5 o'clock. So we wake up. I check my trap, and there's nothing there. And I'm like, really? It either hit it accidentally or ran into it and knocked it out without getting trapped into it. Anyways, so the next night.
So this is last night.
Yeah, this is last night. We set a trap. This was at 11 o'clock at night. We hadn't gone to bed yet. We were still putting the kids to bed. We were in the room talking.
Yeah, there was lights on, and I had Autumn in the rocking chair, which was in my closet because that's the only place it fits. And I'm rocking Autumn, and I'm kind of talking to Jeff for a minute, and all of a sudden we hear snap.
And I'm like, that can't be it. So we look.
So we both
down.
stopped.
Yeah, we're like, is that a mouse? Anyways, so I look, and there it is.
Oh, don't say that. It's horrible. I can't stand him suffering. And I told him, I was like, if it's suffering, kill it.
I waited till it stopped twitching, picked it up, and it's a big old vole.
It was big. I'm not kidding. It was big.
As big as a vole can get, I guess.
Yeah, it was a pretty big one.
So my youngest sees it. She's
2. Yeah,
freaking
Autumn's
out.
still 2, and
2,
so
and
she sees it, and she's like, I want to see. So we kind of show it to her, not like super up close. And then she doesn't want to see it, and then she
Freaks
wants to
out.
see it, and then she doesn't want to see it. It's like this.
She's curious. But
Like
then
she's
she's
curious,
afraid
but
of
she doesn't
it.
like it. Like she doesn't like what's going on. So then she just kept. Eventually, she was like screaming, and then she started crying about it because she was like, "No, the mouse, the mouse!" And anyway, so finally, I told her, I said, "Don't worry. Daddy took it out of the trap and sent it back to its mommy." And so then she was happy because we were afraid of like nightmares later that night. And so then she was happy and she was fine. But
So the mouse went to its mommy.
the mouse is back with its mommy.
And
then, you know, we
So
showed the kids and stuff like that, the older kids, because the other Jacob was asleep and so was Liberty. But anyway, then we go back in our room and I'm like,
cleaned
okay,
the trap. I set a new trap. We go back in our room. I put the trap down right where I put it again. And less than 10 minutes later, snap! And I'm like, no, that can't be it, because that thing I had a hard time setting it because it kept slipping and not.
yeah,
Not
like
setting
we're
it.
like 10 minutes. So like I went back and I was rocking Autumn. Literally, she had fallen asleep. I had her say her prayers. Then I was saying my prayers for her, you know, comfort her and bless her. And she fell asleep during my prayer. And then I started talking to Jeff again. And that's when we heard the next snap. And we were like, what? In fact, it was so loud, and because, you know, it's kind of quiet in our rig at night, that Faith, our oldest, comes running out of her bedroom down the hall and is like, what?
Did it happen again?
Yeah, she's like, did it happen again? And so, anyway, sure enough, I have Jeff look down there, and it is. And this one was a little smaller. Stop saying that. I don't want to know that it suffered. Anyway, and so I really do hate killing God's creatures. I just don't want them in my house.
Nope. Chew up my wires, and they
pee everywhere.
They're destructive little animals.
If I could let them go outside, I would, but they'll just keep coming right back inside. Sad. It was sad. Anyway, so this one was messier. We had to actually throw the trap away on this one, but so that was 2 within 10 minutes, and then we set another trap, and we didn't have anything else happen last night. But I'm like totally paranoid.
The
Like,
trap
keep
is
checking.
still set. I look.
Yeah, we're gonna keep the trap set, at least while we're still camping here. We're currently waiting still for a contract. We have submitted to a few different places for Jeff's first travel contract. We are currently unemployed right now because he did put in his notice, and his last day was like 4 or 5 days ago. So we're hoping to get our first contract. And this COVID pandemic thing is really kind of puzzling because, one, it's really hard to find a place to stay, because even though the national parks are open, some of them, we don't ever do official campgrounds, but some of them like don't really want people going in, or we're unsure if we're allowed to stay. The state parks, they say you can do dispersed camping, but then they might have rules in certain states, like if you don't belong to that county, you can't go to that park, which is kind of what's going on in Utah here.
What happened to us at the flight park.
Yeah, so we were trying to find different travel contracts, and we're like, we have to go somewhere where there's a national forest nearby so that we can do dispersed camping, is what they call it, where you're not at an official campground. So all the official campgrounds are closed. Yes, we can stay at an RV park, but Jeff and I don't really like to. That's why we have our solar.
Too,
And so we didn't want to stay at RV parks. Are expensive, and we don't need it because we have solar that gives us everything that we need. So
we would be fine parking on the road.
Yeah, but it's tricky trying to find a state or a city or even a county that will allow us to do that thing. So we're trying to find the national forest that, would allow our rig in for something like that, where we can do dispersed camping or boondocking, however you want to call it. Some places call it primitive camping. Some of them call them open camping. Whatever the definition is. But yeah, this pandemic is a little tricky for our full-time RVers because we don't really belong anywhere. So yeah, so hopefully we submitted to a couple of places that we feel like there's national forest near it, so we can find a place to stay where they'll allow us to stay while Jeff takes on his new contract.
So subscribe and like our posts and continue following us, because it's gonna be a tough road ahead of us.
Yeah.
So follow us and get to see our drama.
Our drama, I swear. Every time that we think something is done and we're done. Oh yeah. Here's our newest thing. Our lock broke on our door. So that happened yesterday. We kind of been trouble shutting the door. I don't know if this has something to do with it. But anyway, now we've become another statistic because I've had 3 other full-time RV families say that their locks have broken on their doors after a year. It's been a year. And last night our lock broke. So no one here, or we can't lock anybody out. Jeff does have like that jerry rig thing. If you look at this video up here, you can see that one, but he did put another thing on like the screen door that was to help keep our little babies from falling out of the screens. So we can lock it that way, but it's not actually officially locked. But if somebody tried to come in, it would stop them, at least for a little bit. But that's kind of nerve-wracking. So, and the hard thing about right now is we could order one and have it shipped by Amazon and have it in 2 days, but Amazon's not doing 2-day shipping, and so it's not a priority to have the lock, I guess. That's not considered essential, even though it's essential to me to have safety, but it's not considered essential, so it could take a month now to get to us, and we probably won't be here in a month, and we can't really go to RV stores because those are not essential stores, they're closed, so we're kind of in a tricky pickle. Like, it's not exactly
A tricky pickle.
It's not exactly super easy being quarantined and living in an RV. I will say this though, our life hasn't changed all that much, which I am thankful for. My husband does have a job, or at least, you know, we're working on that. So I should be thankful for that. I'm not one of you guys that is thrown into this. It's not homeschool. I've said that before. But thrown into, you know, schooling your kids, especially with like an online program, and you're not used to that, you know, like our life hasn't changed that way. We're not a big family that actually does go out other than going out in nature. So hiking and stuff like that, like we still do that. So our life really hasn't changed in that way. Yeah, as much as we're allowed. So our life hasn't changed in that way. It's more or less just some of the other stuff that you guys are all dealing with just as much as we are. It's a tricky world right now. Anyway, we hope you guys are out there and you're staying safe, and we'll let you guys know where we're going or where we're ending up.
Say your prayers.
Yeah. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe.
She said Emma, Emma. Mama.
Yeah, Emma. Emma.
Another week, another day, another hour since you went away, and so cliche you didn't say goodbye. I've been waiting for so long, still debating what went wrong. All by myself, you pulled away, you couldn't say what we were struggling with. It's one of us, it's obvious, but who's the